Today, we're tackling a remedy that's as fascinating as its name, Asterias rubens. You probably know this one by its common name, the starfish, from the class Radiata. Now, Asterias rubens has a really distinct clinical picture, and you absolutely need to know it for competitive exams like AIAPGET and UPSC. It's also super important for getting your clinical application just right. So, what we're going to do is break down its core features, going straight to the source, Alan's Keynotes.
So, here's our game plan. We'll kick things off with a constitution and the mental picture. Then, we'll get into the key physical symptoms, and you'll want to pay close attention because we're going to focus on its major keynote in mammary cancer. Finally, we'll wrap things up by looking at how it relates to other remedies, and of course, run through some practice questions to make sure all of this really sticks.
Okay, let's dive right in. The best place to start with any remedy is always its foundation, right? We're talking about the patient's constitution and their underlying miasmatic tendency. Now, before we even touch the text, there's a huge concept we have to get our heads around: psychotic diathesis. So what is it? Well, in homeopathy, it's basically a constitutional tendency toward overgrowth, infiltration, and the hardening of tissues. Think warts, tumors, things like that. I want you to hold on to that idea of overgrowth. Just keep it right in the front of your mind, because it is the central theme for Asterias rubens. And what's great is that the original text just dives right in. It says, quote, for the psychotic diathesis. Boom, first thing. This is then paired with this classic triad. You've got a flabby, lymphatic constitution, which immediately makes you think of a sluggish system, maybe prone to fluid retention and swollen glands. And then there's an irritable temperament. And that mental state, we're going to dig into that in just a moment. Okay, so we have the physical picture. Now let's see how that translates into the mental and emotional side of things. And let me tell you, the mental symptoms for Asterias rubens are incredibly specific, which makes them absolutely crucial for telling it apart from other remedies. So the text gives us this brilliant specific mental keynote. It says, easily excited by any emotion, especially by contradictions. See, this isn't just your run-of-the-mill irritability. It's about a very precise trigger. This patient just cannot stand to be contradicted. And you'll notice Alan immediately points us to anacardium and conium for comparison. That's a huge hint, so definitely make a note of that for your exam revision. All right, from the mind, let's shift our focus to the head and the nervous system. This is where Asterias rubens shows up with some really intense symptoms of congestion and, interestingly, a loss of motor control. Let's break these down because each one is a gem. First, you get this very distinct feeling of heat of the head as if surrounded by hot air. That points directly to sanguineous congestion to the brain. Now, this can escalate to apoplexy, what we call a stroke today, and you get that classic picture: a red face, a hard, full, frequent pulse. Then we see this theme of losing control. The gait is unsteady because, as the text says, the muscles refuse to obey the will. This is a key symptom, and you should immediately be thinking of Illumina and Gelsemium for comparison. And finally, for epilepsy, there's a super specific aura, twitching over the whole body 4 or 5 days before the attack. That right there, that's a high yield point for your exams for sure. Okay, now we're getting to the big one. This is probably the most well-known and clinically significant part of the Asterias rubens picture: its powerful action on the mammary glands, especially in cases of cancer. I really want you to pay close attention to the exact words here. The pain is described as acute and lancinating. That means sharp, cutting, almost stabbing. Then you also have a drawing pain and this feeling that the breast feels drawn in, like it's being retracted. And don't miss the modality. The swelling and distension get worse before the menses. That is a crucial clue for your diagnosis. So look at this progression of the ulceration, just as Alan describes it. It all starts with a livid red spot. That spot then breaks down and starts to discharge. The key things you absolutely have to remember here are the fetid odor, a really foul smell, and the unique look of the ulcer itself. The edges are pale, hard, and averted, turned outward, and the bottom is covered with reddish granulations. Getting this mental picture locked in is going to be invaluable for your exams. All right, so we've covered the mammary glands. But Asterias rubens also has a really characteristic picture in the GI system. And it's interesting because it's a picture of contrasts. Let's take a look. So you can see here, it's really a story of extremes. On one side, you've got this really stubborn constipation. There's a desire, but it's ineffectual, and the stools are these hard, round balls, like olives. That's a classic keynote you won't forget. But then, on the complete other side, you can have this violent, gushing, watery brown diarrhea that shoots out in a jet. Alan gives us a whole list of remedies to compare it with, like crotless tig, gradiola, and thuja. Both of these descriptions are so unique, they're actually pretty easy to remember. And here's one last one. It's brief, but it's really important. The text says, sexual desire increased in women. This is a major keynote. And doesn't it link back perfectly to that central psychotic theme we talked about? That idea of overactivity or overgrowth? It all fits together. And as always, Alan gives us a comparison, Lilium tigrinum. Okay, to round out our study of this remedy, let's quickly look at its relationships with other remedies. And after that, we'll test your knowledge with a few practice questions to see what stuck. So this table lays out the remedy relationships really clearly. You'll see similar to, which points to a more general resemblance in action, in this case with Murex and Sepia. But compare is much more specific. For mammary cancer, we're told to compare it with carboanimalis, Conium, and silicia. For epilepsy, the comparison is with belladonna, calcarea, and sulfur. Look, knowing these relationships is absolutely crucial, not just for prescribing accurately, but for acing your exams. All right, you ready? Time for a quick knowledge check. Here's question number 1. Take a second to think about it. Which of these constitutional states is a primary indication for Asterias Rubens? And the correct answer is C, psychosis. If you remember, the very first line of the text in Alan's keynotes nails this down for us. It says, for the psychotic diathesis. That's our foundational miasmatic state right there. Okay, question number 2. This one zeroes in on a specific keynote. What's the description of the stool in the constipation of Asterias Rubens? Yup, the answer is B, hard, round balls like olives. The text gives us that super distinct, memorable image. It's a classic visual keynote you just can't miss. And for our last question, let's test your memory on the neurological symptoms. What is the defining characteristic of the gait in a patient who needs this remedy? The answer is D, unsteady as muscles refuse to obey the will. The text couldn't be clearer on this. It states it verbatim. Gait unsteady, muscles refuse to obey the will. This points directly to that loss of muscular coordination, which is a key neurological feature of Asterias Rubens. So, as we wrap up our look at Asterias Rubens, I want to leave you with something to think about. Remember how we started with the psychotic diathesis, that core tendency for overgrowth? Well, how might that single concept connect something as physical as memory cancer with a mental emotional symptom like increased sexual desire? You see, thinking about these deeper connections is what takes you from just memorizing facts to truly understanding a remedy. So make sure you revise these keynotes. Thanks for joining me today.